If you work at a nail salon, right, it's women. Most of the time, nail salons or hair salons are ran by women. You're surrounded by other women and feminine energy. When you are a CEO or a boss of a company, you hold all of these masculine traits because you are a leader, and the job of a man is to, be the leader, be a problem solver. Girls go based off of emotions, while guys go based off of solving problems and working things out, building things. While you're working in a masculine environment, they teach you, do what you're told, things like this. Like I said, the example with the nail salon, you work around women. All you hear is, family, kids, things like that. When you work for a man, it's very different.
When I see actual civil rights deterioration for women, which is what feminism should stand up for, like the gender movement that now is allowing men to basically become women just because they like stereotypically feminine things, putting on dresses and heels, and now they're invading our sports teams, our locker rooms. Like, these are civil rights that we've fought for and now are being eroded by men. And then I rarely see feminists standing up against that. And men are taking our championships, our titles, they're competing in our sport.
I do not feel like I'm missing out at all. Actually, I think that getting married was the first time that I felt like my whole life came together and I knew my purpose, and having children, I was like, nothing else matters, and I always want women to unlock that in life, because when you realize, I think before, you just don't know what you're doing. You're trying to stay alive, you're trying to pay rent, you don't know who you are. And then when you meet your person, you become the most secure that you will ever be in your entire life. Like we were talking about this earlier on the show, where it's like, you can't take anything from me. When your life is in order and your family life is in order, you have everything.
What do you have to offer as a wife?
Yes. Well, actually, I like to serve my husband. I did political stuff beforehand, but I do love to serve my husband. I'm a mother, which is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. And I've never been a feminist. I've always been very conservative. But I did used to ascribe to the kind of career, boss babe lifestyle, where I used to never want to get married. I was an atheist in my past life, and I'm now a Christian, and I realized that I used to want to prioritize a career, but I can promise you girls that the best thing you can do is be a homemaker, serve your husband, raise a child. And I know it sounds crazy, but
waking up in the morning and trying to provide or do anything besides just be a woman is masculine.
Yes.
Waking up and trying to do anything besides cook, clean, and suck dick with your man and dealing with your kids.
I understand.
That's masculine. I'm feminine. I'm with the soft girl era.
Yes.
Where I wake up, I clean my house, I cook breakfast for my man.
Why are we telling young women to take your most fertile years, when you should be having babies, and spend that entire decade of your 20s chasing an education which the average woman goes $40,000 into debt to get, and she makes an average of $40,000 a year, which is a terrible deal, right? So we tell them to go to all this college, get into debt to get your degree, and then do the career thing like you just said, and then all of a sudden at 30, flip a switch and try to get at least 2.1 babies out of them. That's stupid, and it's never going to happen. So why do we give young women that advice? I mean, I think 95% of y'all don't have any business being in a university at all.
It's not only about them being 40 plus, but it's the fact that they're out there working like a man. So when they come home, they're thinking like a man. They're not going to want to cater to their man. They're exhausted. They're overworked. They want to work a job like a man and all this other stuff. A man doesn't want that. They're too hardened. And when they come home from dealing with people all day, you think they want to get in the kitchen and make their man a sandwich? No. And those would be the same ones that are talking about independent and I'm a free woman and I'm a PhD.
Okay,
take care of myself. A man don't want that.
Let me ask you this. So if a woman is independent, she hasn't met her man yet or nothing, and she has bills to pay, how the fuck is she supposed to pay them bills if she's not working?
They don't care about you paying your bill.
My husband frequently talks to me being like, when are you going to be done with your bachelor's? When are you going to be done with your bachelor's? I'm so tired of watching you get stressed. I just want you to stay home all day and do what you love. Cook, hang out, hang out with the cat. He genuinely, and he was so much more excited when I got my job at the grocery store than he was when I brought home my 4 whatever GPA for the whateverth time this last semester. And honestly, if you really want to just be able to hook a guy, be good at making food. I promise you.
It was interesting. I was talking to my dad, me and him have a lot of discussions, and he was telling me, he's like, you don't even know how much value you have as a young woman. He said you are probably one of the most valuable things on this earth right now. And he said,
your dad is a legend.
It was really interesting the way he worded it to me, and it really kind of affected me. I was like, you're so right. He's he said even just like biologically, like your value, there's rich men who want to wife you, like they want to pay for you to have their kids. And I was like, that is really true. And I think as a woman, you need to recognize your value, whatever that means to you.
No, that's a really good point.
You can kind of mess up your ability to pair bond because it comes down to habits, right? So if you're like constantly having, promiscuous sex, it is harder for you to have that habit of staying committed to one man.
By all means, you can go out and be a businesswoman, but just realize that when you take that role that is originally supposed to be masculine when it comes to owning businesses and such, and having people work below you and telling people what to do and how you want things done, is originally, traditionally, a man's job. So when you decide to get married, it's kind of gonna clash. You could be right, there could be women that still have those feminine energies, but it's not the same. And like I said, it is a little bit harder.